Welcome to the All Need Music Podcast. I'm Matt,
And I'm Jesse.
and we are back again. Back again. Haven't
You,
said that in
you're
a while.
you're welcome. You got something good to look at this time instead of last time.
I was still here. It was the dude that was over here. I can't help that.
Right, I'm over here now.
Right.
I'm to your left, or at least on my screen I am. I don't know how it will show up on the thing.
You're to my right.
Okay, right hand
So
man.
that's right. Yep. Jesse's back from vacation, and
No more damn it, Dan.
for now, we may let him come back at some point.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. I'm still
Gotta
waiting
get
to get the all the specs and insight on the last one. Who knows? It might jump us a million followers or something like that, and I might get kicked out. Or did we lose people?
I'd be leaning more towards we lost people.
Damn it,
sorry,
Dan.
sorry, Dan.
Thanks for filling in, though, buddy.
Yeah, definitely. And people liked. I mean, we had some good engagement though on social media with the Frank Foster stuff.
Well,
There's,
yeah, I was mad that I missed it. I love Frank.
but you were off doing siesta time in Mexico, and
Yeah. I was, you
the
know,
show must go on.
I was scoping out Crash My Playa down in Playa de Carmen. So, hopefully, you know, I get in good with Luke, and he just sends us that invite for next year. So I was scoping it out for us down there.
Is that what you're doing?
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
I couldn't tell that by any of the snaps on the beach
Oh, you couldn't?
with cocktails. No, I didn't see Luke or anything music related at all. Actually,
Yeah, funny thing, he wasn't there at all. I thought he just lived down there. I mean, I would,
right.
especially during this winter stuff right now and everything you're going through up north.
Yeah, and I mean, normally we've got this recorded, ready to go days in advance, but we had 8 consecutive days of no power due
Yeah,
to ice apocalypse 25 is
right.
what the locals have deemed it.
It's crazy.
10 county state of emergency. Crazy, crazy stuff.
Well, it's just wild too because you guys dealt with that up there the day after you guys got that crazy ice storm. Tosh and I had a tornado warning here in mid Michigan, and a warning that I've never seen before, where the phones were just going nuts, the TV was going crazy, saying, it's the first time I've ever like sheltered in place down in the crawl space, because the way that they were talking about it, there was tornadoes touching down like less than 40 miles from here, coming at us at 90 miles an hour. So, and then to boot everything that they're dealing with down in Nashville and all through
Yeah,
the center there of all the tornadoes and devastation,
flooding
flooding,
yeah,
and yeah, it's like, dang, Mother
yeah.
Nature's not being too nice to us right now.
No, I imagine these tree crews and power crews, because we've got them from all over up here. We've seen West Virginia plates, Pennsylvania plates, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, Indiana, Illinois. I mean, literally everywhere around has come to kind of be all hands on deck here. And it sounds like they're probably going to turn and burn and head back to Kentucky and Tennessee to deal with stuff there, probably.
Well, that was kind of funny because they were all up there. A lot of the crews from here in central Michigan, Jamie and Jeremy's brother Dominic, he's been up north there for Sunday through Sunday. I just seen that he got back today, but they were all headed up there to work to get you guys out. And then during that storm I was talking about, we didn't get hit with it here, but all down Grand Rapids, down to like Jackson and everything like that, they got hit and they had tens of thousands of people without power. You guys had tens of thousands, of hundreds of thousands of people without power. And then they were telling us that like 3 days later to like brace again because we were going to get an ice storm here in mid Michigan. And
Right.
it was going to be like ice at night. And then by the morning, we were going to get tornadoes again. And I was like, well, if all the crews are up there and now all the crews are down there, I was like, what, are we just going to be like left behind? Like it's going to take like 3 weeks for them to get you guys hooked back up and them back up. Luckily, nothing ever happened here, but
Yeah.
it's pretty crazy when stuff like that goes on, and awesome to all those people that can go out and help and stuff like that. So yeah, what
Yeah.
were you guys 8 days without power?
8 days. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys just got it back last night.
Yep. Yeah.
I called it. Called it.
Fortunately we've got a generator. Getting gas was crazy. I've never seen it. My mom's told stories about waiting in line for gas back in the day. I think it was when Jimmy Carter was president, maybe, or something. And I'm like, waiting in line for gas. Who would do that?
Were
Me,
you out
3 days in a
of the
row.
car seat by then?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't even born. Nice try.
You were sitting next to her in the regular seatbelt?
Yeah. No, okay. I did sit on her lap from Missouri to California under a year old because car seats weren't mandatory, and they drove from Missouri to California with me on my mom's lap. So
nice.
But yeah, we did all right with the generator, and had to wait in line for gas like 3 consecutive days, and literally had to drive because there was nowhere in town at all that was open with gas in Petoskey, not a single place.
No.
So we were driving to Indian River, waiting in line to get gas. I went over there with Carl. The next day we waited in line in Boyne City to get gas. And the day after that, waited in line in Afton to get gas. And so, I got some prepper things that I need to do for the future that ain't going to be worried about that kind of stuff no more. But we fared the storm okay. And, people stepped up locally to help each other out. And, with anything, there's always some dirt bags in the mix, and you're hearing some of those stories as well. But worked out well for us. And I got a shower twice yesterday, which was nice, instead of going to somebody's house like every other day to get one. We went, which we're going to jump into here in a minute, with the concert we went to on Friday night, and then stayed at Jesse's family's hunting lodge, and took a shower there before heading home yesterday, and then got power back last night, and I took another one. And so nice. That one, I told Megan, I said, I'm burning through all the hot water. And I just stood in there. It was like, because every other shower in the last week, we've kind of rushed because we've been at somebody else's house using their stuff. Right. And so it's like, I'm going to jump in, get a quick shower, and be on my way, almost like you would in a camper. You just take it real quick, not use a lot of water, not use a lot of hot water. I got in the shower last night, and I ran that thing till it started cooling off and shut it down. I was like, all right, I'm good.
All right, I'll be back. I'll be back in an hour for round 2.
I crashed out last night. I slept for 12 hours straight, never got up once.
Whoa, nice.
It was nuts. But the past week I've slept for shit, stayed up through the storms, those first couple nights to make sure that, nothing, went sideways with branches hitting the house and trees coming down. And it was nice to get caught up on that.
Finally got a relief, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
I think honestly,
now you got to go back to work, though. That sucks.
And that's fine. I feel so refreshed. For me, getting to go to a concert is like a huge stress relief, and my real happy place. So piggyback that onto like the very next day, getting power back and getting some normalcy back. It was just great.
Nice. Awesome. Well, glad you're back on the grid.
Me too.
We can finally do these podcasts now.
Right.
We were worried we were going to have to do like some hot spotting of phones tapped into generators and stuff. So
we were going to do the old Campbell soup can and a string. Drive it down to Jesse's house and hope no trees fall on the string so that we can talk back and forth.
Yeah, we met in Cadillac Kalkaska the other day, and that's where we swapped them. But I was like, nope, you guys are going to get power back tomorrow night. I have a feeling. I'm glad I was right.
Yeah. So Friday, and that's what this podcast is about. Friday was, fucking awesome. Is there any other way to put it?
Yeah, I think I think we fucked around and we found out
We sure did.
how legit
So
Bryan Martin is.
yeah,
Sorry.
and we'll get into that,
Teaser.
but man, we got there early. We knew we wanted to go there and grab a bite to eat beforehand. The venue event center, right in front of it is the truck stop, and same owners. And we knew we were going to go there and grab a bite to eat and a cocktail before the show, which anybody in Michigan, especially mid Michigan and northern Michigan, really, I mean, this place is worth driving to from Detroit, Toledo,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, Grand Rapids, from Marquette, you name it. Great ticket prices, food essentially right on site, basically, so you can grab dinner and then
Yeah.
walk out the back to the
Did
show.
you see that so for any of you guys that watched a couple podcasts ago when we interviewed Sean from the Venue Events Center, that's what we're talking about. Cadillac Michigan Venue Events Center. It sits kind of lengthwise, and then right in front they call it the truck stop, but it was kind of like a garage, almost like a big garage that had those see-through
Roller
doors.
doors.
And I mean, it was like, shoot, I think there was 6 or 7, 8 of those doors. So in the summertime, obviously they come up and it's like indoor, outdoor.
Yep.
But that food truck that was parked right there, that they use that food truck for other stuff, that's
Yeah.
actually where they were cooking all the food. They weren't doing it in the bar part.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Tasha said something about it, and I thought that they were taking the food from there to the venue, to the event
They were
center
doing
back
both.
there. Yeah, they were doing both, but I was like, yeah, I didn't realize that. So pretty much we were just like, that was in the place where we were at, the truck stop was just the bar, bunch of tables and everything like that, and then they had their food truck, and that's where they were cooking all their food. Their big smoker out back, and yeah, Tosh and I talked about that. If the truck stop was in our town or anywhere near our town, we would probably eat there
A
at
couple days
least
a week.
once a week, if not 2 to 3 times a week, because
Yeah.
it was just and it had a menu that I'm super excited to go back to, even though I had the pulled pork nachos. The rest of the menu, like I wanted one of everything on the menu. Like everything looked good, and all the tables that were around us, that stuff were coming out. The burgers looked phenomenal. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like I want to go back there and just keep like trying, like go down the menu and just yep. So I wish it was closer, but
That just means we got to go to more shows there.
right, exactly. That's what Tosh was saying, and we're like, how cool was that we literally, because that's what we were kind of talking about, that we were staying about 45 minutes away at our camp, and there's a few spots in Cadillac that I've eaten before, and I was going to take you guys there and check them out. And then once Sean said that, that they had that place there, and we looked into it a little more and checked out their menu, like how that was just like perfect. Like we got there, we didn't have to go somewhere else in Cadillac and worry about like having, a few pre drinks beforehand and then having to drive across town to get back there.
Yeah.
You go there, they got the bar right there, badass food, and then literally you just walk out of there and walk right into the event center. So awesome setup.
Yeah, it was incredible. I had the brisket mac and cheese, which was calling my name from Google reviews. But they had a rodeo cheeseburger, and I'm always a sucker for a rodeo cheeseburger.
I
And
almost got that.
I was like, oh man, I want the rodeo cheeseburger. I'm like, I gotta stick with the brisket mac and cheese. That's what I wanted to get before we came here. So
Yeah.
I'm holding to that, and it did not disappoint at all.
That's so funny. Another thing that we're spot on with. Like, I've been a rodeo cheeseburger guy ever since like Burger King came out with them. How many
Right.
ever years ago? And nobody I know ever gets the rodeo burgers. And so it's like anytime I see something, anything rodeo burger whatsoever, it's like, yep, gonna get that. But
Yep.
I'm a huge pulled pork nacho guy myself, and when I seen that, and then Tasha got the brisket tachos, And it
Yep.
was like, all right, she's getting some brisket. I'm getting the pulled pork, so I can kind of pick and choose, which was funny because,
Megan got the pulled pork tachos.
yeah. Yeah. So Tasha gets brisket and you get brisket, and Megan and I both got the pulled pork. So
Yeah,
it was
yin and yang.
yin and yang down there. So, but yeah, it was the food was unbelievable. And what I'm telling you, I'm a nacho aficionado connoisseur, and I've had pulled pork nachos pretty much anywhere I've ever gone, and they had hunks of pulled pork on these nachos that, like, I pulled 2 to 3 different hunks off that were like this big. And usually when you get pulled pork nachos, this hunk is split into the
The
entire
whole
nacho,
thing.
and that's it. Not only was there pulled pork everywhere, but then there was like chunks, like 3 huge chunks. Like I couldn't even finish it. I ended
Yeah,
up
you could
taking
have
it.
put those chunks on sliders.
Yeah, easily. I was like, "Hold!" They do not skimp. Everything. Yours was huge. Tasha's, like, everybody's was, and it just looked phenomenal. And everybody's else around that was getting other stuff, the burgers and everything. Like everything just looked the bomb.
And the prices were phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
Sean, Jeremy, if you guys are watching this, don't jack them up. Like,
right.
keep them where they're at. I loved it. Like
Yeah,
the 4 of us ate, had drinks, and it was incredible. Like,
yeah.
I've been to far worse places and spent far more
Oh yeah,
than what we did there, grabbing some food. And
yeah.
like I said, it's just spot on to get a good base in your belly before going to a great show. And not like Jesse said, you're not having to drive across town to do it. Literally, same parking spot.
Yeah.
We stayed for the night.
Yeah, didn't have to move the truck at all. Bounced out there a few times to drop some sweatshirts off, grab some stuff for some signatures and everything. And yeah, you just kind of bopped around and everything like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I think pulled pork nachos were like $12 or something like that. And I mean, there was $15 worth of pork on there, let alone all the pico and cheese and everything. Yeah, like you said, I could have pulled them off and made sandwiches out of them. I'm like, yeah, they could easily. Yeah, don't go jacking them up though. But yeah, so
And don't skimp either.
yeah, don't
Leave
skip. That
just
was
how it is.
keep it just
You got
how it is. I mean, there was a reason that place. We got there right at 5 o'clock. Doors didn't open until 6:30. Granted, it was a Friday at 5, but I didn't think that it would be like, we were lucky that we got a table. There was one open. Like that place was
Yeah, that was the
packed.
last one.
Yeah, last table, it was packed in there. And but yeah, they were very efficient. um you know didn't take too awful long to get our food. I don't know the exact
we
time
we waited
because
longer to go eat our food than what
right,
it took.
right. We bounced out and went to go and find Sean and talk with him while we were waiting on the food. And I don't even know if we found him yet. We found some of the other people that were showing us around and stuff like that. And we're getting texts like, food's here, food's here. And we're like, man, we haven't even like talked to Sean yet.
Now we did talk to him by then because we'd already met Bryan by then, and talked with
Okay.
him before the food text came. But it was pretty quick. And the entire team there, whether it be in the restaurant or whether it was at the venue event center itself, were, I mean, just like Sean talked about when he was on the podcast, dude did not lie one bit. Everybody we met there was absolutely incredible.
Oh yeah, yeah. When he talked about them being like a family, and it runs because they're such a tight knit group, and everybody just loves what they're doing. I mean, yeah, like you said, spot on, exactly what Sean said, which was super cool when he did say that, because they value your employees, and that's why your business is successful, is because of the people that you have doing it. And yeah, he wasn't just blowing smoke on that one. He gave props to everybody there. They were giving props back. And yeah, everyone we met there. Won't get into all the names and everything of everybody that we did meet there, but I mean, from the girl that kind of runs everything to we met the gal that books all the talent and everything. Obviously Sean, that's kind of the voice of the venue.
Yep.
But then, they were introduced to the sound guys, to, the stage people. Like, we got to meet everybody, and it was a tight knit group family there. So,
Yeah, and I think one thing that we've always talked about on the podcast with artists, even right, is we're not going to blow smoke up anybody's ass, whether it be an artist or whether it be a venue.
yeah,
And so, if we would have gone there and had a horrible time, and the sound sucked or lighting sucked or anything like that, like, we keep it real. That's
yeah,
part of why we want this podcast to be what it is that we're not going to just say something for the sake of saying it.
right,
Um, we want to stand behind anything that we promote, whether it be an artist or a venue. And there's literally not even the slightest fragment of an ounce of hesitation in telling you guys that this venue is somewhere you need to be going for shows.
yeah.
100%.
Yeah, yeah, you can't say enough good things about this place. I mean, we've gone to a lot of different places to see shows. Um, I don't think we've ever talked or we're as impressed with a venue as a whole than the Venue Event Center in Cadillac. So we're already scrolling through, looking at what shows are coming up, what we're gonna get to hit next. Did get a few hints at a few people that the talent bookers are in
In the
talks
works.
with, in the
Yeah.
works with. We're not going to reveal anything yet because nothing's set in stone. As soon as it's set in stone, it's going to hit their website, which is thevenuecadillac.com. If anybody wants to check it out there, or go on to Facebook. We always link the stuff in our all of our videos and everything, so you can check
Yeah,
them out
and,
there.
and we've
But
shared a bunch of their stuff. Matter of fact, I just shared, I think it
oh,
was
the
earlier
Tyler Farr.
today, the Tyler Farr concert on May 23rd, and you'll certainly see at least me. I don't know, Jesse. We hadn't committed to that yet, but I know we were looking at schedules.
Yeah,
But
that's something
I'm
that.
clear that day, and I'm certainly going to be there for sure. Love Tyler Farr. I've seen him several times in concert, met him multiple times. Was even fortunate enough to have he had me up on stage years and years ago at a show.
You gonna wear that
So
shirt again?
I might just have to do that. I
Last time
might
we
just
met him,
have
you
to do
didn't.
that.
You didn't have the shirt on that time.
No, but
That's
when he brought me
Sheboygan.
on stage, he did, and when I got him to do the Dan video, I was wearing it that day as well.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll have to dust it off and break it out of the closet because I've still got it.
Yeah, that's one. It's definitely on the radar because he does put on a phenomenal show. I've seen him twice now, and yeah, he puts on a great show. But it's every time I've seen him has been outdoor venue.
Yep.
I don't know if I would say a larger crowd. I mean, the one time we did see him, it was down in Nashville, I believe. But I'm like the intimate location of the Venue Event Center, like that's just a cool place to see somebody. And so it's like, even though I've seen him a few times and I know he puts on a great show, it's probably going to be even better there because it's going to be a lot more intimate, which is what we really love as
Yeah.
far as seeing shows. So, and just to go through the whole thing again with everybody at the Venue Event Center, from the truck stop food to to going and
I'm getting a rodeo burger that day.
yeah.
I
Well,
already know that.
and who knows, by then they were working on the new raised VIP seating area,
Seating. Yeah.
and the new female bathrooms. They were actually working on it that day. It actually got pretty far on it, so I'm sure by then it will be available, and so it's going to be even more room for seating. And
Yeah,
right,
and with Tyler Farr is Jesse Campbell,
yeah,
and I've been following him for a while on the socials. Not seen him live, but what I have seen, I like. So I'm looking forward to see him open for Tyler Farr as well. Get a good chance to catch him in person. So
he's not a
uh,
Michigan guy, is he?
he is.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, I thought he was a local. So yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
So Anyway, back to Friday night. Uh, Bryan Martin. Holy shit!
We
Fuck around
fucked
and find
around
out.
and found out.
Damn straight.
So I want to set the mood, if you will, for this. Like, I've been looking forward to this concert since, like, as soon as it got put out that it was going to be there. I have been like a Bryan Martin junkie for the last few years. Um, he's not like huge by any means,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't say that like he's even an up and comer because he's been grinding for quite some time. But on the way up, even I was telling Tasha, I was like, I haven't been this excited for a concert since we went to CMA Fest 2 years ago for the 50th anniversary of
Right.
CMA Fest. Like, to that excitement level. Like, we've gone to how many concerts and everything like that. And we get excited for all of them, but I was so freaking excited. But I was like, at the same time, I was trying to like keep myself in check because I said, if he does it, I don't want to be like, this is going to be one of the best concerts ever. And like, if he was like fell short just by a little bit, I didn't want to be like let down. Like, oh, it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what, like, it far exceeded all expectations, even when I was like, this is going to be the amazing concert of the year, blah, blah, blah. And the dude absolutely killed it. Like, I,
It's definitely going to be a tough one to top this year,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah. I, about halfway through the concert, I actually did something that I'm not really supposed to do for any of our military out there that know about challenge coins. Uh,
I wouldn't even talk about this.
no,
No, I wouldn't even bring it back up again because I still kind of want to throat punch you just for the comment.
I
Uh,
mean, I gotta say it though. You can, because that's I don't know how else to put it. So we did some volunteer work last year with Mr. Matthew up north there, and I earned a challenge coin. So, not that I've ever been in the military or anything like that, but
well, it ain't even the challenge coin part that bothers me. It's more
what I challenged.
that the statement that you made that was,
Yes, yes.
Bryan Martin was great. I'm not going to take anything away from that at all, but the fact that you said what you said is absolute blasphemy,
I don't know if I can't.
and should never be spoken again ever. I don't even want to think about it.
I'm gonna tell all my fans here on here. I'm gonna say it. I got to. Do you need to go? Do you got to
I
go
need you guys. I
cry
need you
in the
guys to
corner?
just hop in the comments and just tell him that he doesn't have fans anymore after this. Okay, so just keep it real with him, like we keep it real with you guys, and let him know that he's absolutely off his rocker. But go ahead, by all means, speak your blasphemy.
After the concert, when because before the concert we got to talk with Bryan a little bit and got a couple pictures and stuff. But then after the concert, that was really crazy too. He did a meet and greet before the concert.
Yep.
And then we got to talk with him. But then after the concert, he came out and did another meet and greet over by the merch table. Like, everybody got to line up and take pictures with him.
Yeah.
I got to tell him this story, and I tell you what, he had the biggest smile on his face when I told him this while you were over there gabbing with some girls or something. I don't know what you were doing, but I told Matt in the about 3/4 of the way through the concert, I threw down a challenge coin, flag, what have you will, that I said that this concert is the closest thing
It's not
to
what you
see.
said.
Huh?
It's not what you said.
I said I said I think this might be better than seeing Jamie Johnson in concert. I didn't say it was better. I said this is the challenge coin. I'm putting him to the challenge, and we weren't even done. He hadn't even played like majority of his like bigger songs at this point, and I was like, if he's this good right now, wait till he plays these other songs. So I did throw it down, and I'm not saying that he's better than Jamie Johnson. But as far as in concert being that close to him and the energy that he put off, I don't know, man. I know
Listen, I'm obviously biased, right? I think
100%,
that
100% bias.
I think that Jamie Johnson is the greatest thing out there. He is, to me, a true living legend. He will be remembered very easily with the likes of Waylon and Merle and Johnny Cash and all of the greats. And Jamie Johnson will be in that same realm as the years go on. To me, there is zero. There's nothing better. When Jamie Johnson sings, especially if you have the benefit of seeing him in concert with Randy Houser, the two of them combined, there is nothing on this world better than the two of them doing a show together. Period. Exclamation point. Done. Like, and I don't care who it is. I'll stand on that. That's, to me, the absolute best. Now, that's not taking anything away from Bryan Martin, because Bryan Martin absolutely, and I've seen hundreds of artists. We've talked about it before. We've been to venues throughout the Midwest. I've been to venues, in Connecticut. I've been to venues in California. You name it. I've been to venues all over the place, seen hundreds of artists, and that Bryan Martin show was certainly top 5. I won't take anything away from what he did, and the location combined a lot of times makes things better.
Sure. Oh yeah.
I'll be posting some videos that we took. The videos don't do it justice, but you can hear in the videos that Bryan Martin sounds like Bryan Martin that you hear streaming or on the radio or however you get your music.
It was almost better than what you hear on the radio, like or wherever.
Sometimes that cleaned up studio shit to me doesn't make it better. Sometimes it makes it worse. And and there's artists out there, and Jamie Johnson is one of them, and Randy Houser is one of them. Jackson Dean is one of them on the newer side of things. There are artists out there that sound as good or better live.
Bailey
on the
Zimmerman.
Female side, Bailey, but on the female side, Lainey does it. Ella Langley does it. Mae Estes does it. There's a ton of them that do it. And, there's also a ton of them that don't. And, we've left shows before completely unimpressed by how somebody sounded. But Bryan Martin is the real fucking deal.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely.
Yeah.
He's not Jamie Johnson. For me, he's not. But he's in his own way, he's absolutely incredible, and he sounded phenomenal. He engaged with the crowd, stayed energetic the entire time, and was a super nice fucking dude when we were just shooting the shit with him.
Yeah,
just a cool guy.
Right.
Didn't seem rushed like some artists do, and when you do that shit every day, I'm sure it gets old. But to still engage with people and not try and rush off, I give major kudos to that. And on that note, we've already got our next date planned to see Bryan Martin again.
Right. Right.
And fortunately for us, he's going to be touring with Taylor Austin Dye, who Jesse and I talked about the other day, and didn't realize, like, I've known about her and I follow her, and Jesse's known about her and he follows her, but we hadn't really like together talked about her yet.
Right.
And when I brought it up, he was like, "Oh, I love her," and I'm like, "I love her too."
it was like
Did we
a
just
thing. I
become
was
best
like,
friends?
right. Did we just pick up? It was like, yeah, I sent her to you long ago. And he's like, no, I sent her to you. And I was like, well, whoever sent her to whoever, like we've both liked her from probably about the same time. And like, yeah, we've not really talked about her, but yeah, she's definitely one of them up and comers that's the last probably year has really gained some traction, has been on tour with some big names and started playing some more festivals and stuff. So yeah, when I mean, it could have been just Bryan Martin alone coming up to Boyne, and I would have been like, "Yep, let's do it." But now throwing her in the mix, like, it's like,
It's
oh yeah, yeah,
absolutely
I want
200% we have to do it.
right. I've like I want to see her, and I'm pretty sure she's going to be down in Nashville for CMAs. I thought I saw her name on it, but I could be wrong. But regardless, I was like, sweet, because if she's not down in Nashville, I didn't know what festival she would be coming to that were close, and so now this is like two birds with one stone. So
Yeah.
absolutely.
So,
The only
so
bummer
for,
thing about that is that, obviously they're not going to be serving red Farrens inside the high school.
that's true. That's true.
But it wouldn't be
Uh,
the first time I didn't get hammered in the high school.
I've never done anything like that before. Uh, but for those of you hearing this, Bryan Martin's got a ton of shows coming up. He'll be in Columbus, in Hobart, Indiana, in Lexington, Kentucky. April 17th, he's back in Michigan and Port Huron. So if you're any of our Michigan listeners, you definitely need to make it to that show. Then he's back in Indianapolis, in Bartonville, Illinois, Phoenix, Flagstaff. He's at Stagecoach in Indio. Then he's in Crystal Bay, Nevada, Idaho, Oregon, South Dakota, Texas, South Carolina, North Carolina, Memphis, Tennessee, Springfield, Missouri, another Missouri, Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, another Kentucky. Then he's back in Ohio for country concert. Then he's in Ontario, back to Ohio again, Washington, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Maine, Indiana. Then he's back September 6th at the Vault in Saginaw, which is another venue I'd like to check out. I follow them on socials and looks like a cool venue. So I'd like to check that out. Then he's in Minnesota. And then September 25th, he's back in Michigan again for the Boyne City Firefighters fundraiser concert that they do at the Boyne City Performing Arts Center. The very next day, he's in Michigan again, down in Jackson at the Michigan Theater of Jackson, which is a very awesome venue.
Is that the
have been
sister
there.
to the one in Flint?
I don't believe that they're tied together. No.
No. Okay.
But it's a great venue, and that is where I seen Jamie Johnson and Randy Houser at, and it's an incredible venue down in Jackson. Probably the only decent thing to ever come out of Jackson is the Michigan Theater. Everything else from Jackson, like Damn It Dan, is kind of
Hey, Uncle Ted's Ranch is down there. That's a good thing.
Then he's in Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, Texas, and Louisiana. So he's covering the majority of the states. So I don't care where you guys are listening to us from. Jump on BryanMartinOfficial.com, click on his tour page, and find out where he's at by you, and make sure you're going to one of these shows.
So he's in. Obviously, he just played in Cadillac.
Yep.
You said April 17th, he's down in Port Huron.
Yep.
And then he comes back to Michigan to Saginaw in August.
No, September is 3 Michigan shows. It's in Saginaw, Boyne City, and Jackson.
So he's got 5 Michigan shows?
Yeah. It competes with Texas, probably for the most shows of a state that he's doing.
I mean, we might turn into some Bryan Martin, roadies or something like this with that many shows.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, with what he just did on Friday night, I might be looking up some of those other shows and and trying to like, hey, well, how long does it take to get Port Huron? Can I make it to
Right.
Jackson in time? Like,
Yeah. Do we follow him from Boyne City down to Jackson and see the
right,
show there?
right. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah.
So, and we didn't touch on the merch for the day. I'm rocking some Gary Allen, just sitting out here watching airplanes, and Jesse's got his Bryan Martin koozie, his fuck around and find out.
Yeah, they actually I was torn because I love to get koozies. Shirts are cool too. He had some pretty badass shirts there. He had some sweet posters, but I'm always a koozie junkie, and I love the fuck around and find out. That was cool. But then he actually had another koozie there that I was like, oh my gosh, I want that one too. And to be honest, I was gonna buy both of them. And luckily Tasha was like, hey, I want that koozie. So I was like, sweet. I'm not buying two of them. I'm buying one for her and one for me, even though I'm gonna swipe it from her. So
Right.
probably the next podcast we do, I'll probably swap them out and show you guys what that one looks like, because that's a pretty sweet koozie too. So, but yeah, I was getting on you for that. We were checking out some stuff. We had some posters for the Venue Event Center made that Matt brought in to get signed, and we were looking at some of the other posters, and Matt was talking about getting a shirt, and then food showed up and we had to run over there, and then had to run back to get in line, and then Sean brought us in a little pre-show early and was showing us around and doing some stuff too, so everything kind of got rushed. And then when Bryan came back out after the show, and dun, 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 you gotta just keep going up. No, nope, over to the right.
Perfect.
Over right there. Nope, over to the right. Nope, now you ruined it. Yeah.
So
Sweet,
I had
sweet
to go
little
grab
posters.
these. We had these made up. The Venue Event Center that is signed by Bryan Martin. So no time like the present. We'll skip past the merch for just a second on this. So this contest is only going to be on the podcast. So there's going to be only one way. I'm going to give one of these away to somebody. And so if you're listening to the podcast and you're this far into it, that when this gets posted on our YouTube and you watch through to this point, comment on YouTube only on the video itself, comment on there, fuck around and find out. And the first person that does that, I'm going to mail you one of those Bryan Martin signed posters. So compliments of the On the Music podcast. But back to the merch. I was over at the table and then I was like, oh crap, I got to grab them banners. And I went to grab the banners. Came back, we talked to Bryan Martin some more, and then like we left and then got in the car, started driving back, and it was like, shit, I never grabbed my shirt. Fortunately for me, the very next day, I'm on Facebook and there's a post from Bryan Martin linking the Average Joe's Superstore. And I'm a big Average Joe's fan. That's Colt Ford and his folks. They've got a lot of artists that they're in cahoots with. Bryan Martin is one of them. So you can buy merch on Bryan Martin's actual website, but you can also get it on the Average Joe's Superstore. And there's a ton of great merch on there. You go to the AverageJoe'sSuperstore.com, and then you can go through the different artists that they have merch for. Like I said, Bryan Martin is one of them. And so I already have a shirt ordered from the Average Joe Superstore because I fucked around and found out and didn't get it at the concert. So, but the nice thing is you can still buy the artist merch that way. And we've talked about that before. You can get it on their lives. You can get it on their websites. There's tons of ways to support them. And just because you don't do it at the show doesn't mean you don't have to do it or can't do it or whatever. So go ahead and check that out. And while you're there, you can see a ton of other artists that are affiliated with Average Joe's that they sell merch for, not just Bryan Martin or Colt Ford. There's a ton of them. So go check that out as well. And you can still support Bryan Martin by buying his merch through the Average Joe's Superstore.
Yeah, and like we've said many times before, there's a lot of these guys that, touring the country. Obviously, Bryan is hitting a ton of venues right now over the next
And we didn't mention it was a sold out show.
Yes.
So he's selling shit out
Right.
regularly, including the show we were at. So thank you to everyone that's supporting local venues like the Venue Event Center and buying those tickets. We were fortunate enough to give away tickets to some people that got to go to the show as well. So it was a great time.
Yeah. We got to meet some folks there, and got some tickets given away. Compliments the All New Music podcast, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, with the merch and everything like that, it's really cool. You know, I've never in the past been like a huge, especially when the merch line is like super long. But when you get in there early and you can grab some stuff, or like that after the concert, a lot of these concerts that we go to at these, not stadium show venues, a lot of times the stars come out afterwards and they go to their merch booth. So when you're going there to buy, a koozie, a poster, a shirt, whatever, you get a good chance at seeing them and maybe getting something signed too. You buy a poster from them and they get a signature on there. So definitely be checking those out when you guys are going to the concerts. If you get in early, the lines are usually a little bit lower, or if you hit them up afterwards, especially if there's somebody that's opening for an act, I'll almost guarantee that those openers are going to be at the merch booth selling their own merch, and it's a great chance for you to get a meet and greet without having to like buy a meet and greet a pass, where usually those are 35, 40, $50, and you get a handshake and a picture taken. Now you go up to the merch booth after and buy a $30, $35 shirt, gets a signature, gets a handshake and a picture, and you got the shirt to take home. So it's almost a better way to do the meet and greet like that than it is getting it beforehand, or get them both, and that way you get a 2-for-1
Right.
right there. So
Yeah, no, that's a definite bonus to seeing openers and then getting to meet them at the merch tables. We've done that a ton. And make sure you guys are also telling your friends about the All New Music podcast. We gave away a ton of tickets last year to shows. I think probably 5 shows we gave tickets away to last year,
yeah.
including Faster Horses. And we're giving away stuff already this year, tickets to shows. We're giving away signed posters. We're going to be continuing to do that. So if your friends are country music fans, make sure they're chiming in, because that's going to be the only way to win that stuff. And we were even kicking around the idea just Friday night and into Saturday about possibly taking somebody to CMA Fest. So who knows whether that one will come to fruition or not, but it's a definite possibility.
Well, and to let you guys know too, like we aren't affiliated with anybody as far as getting these tickets or venues or anything like that. That's just us like wanting
Yeah.
to wanting to get people to good shows and see good artists, and hang out with us. Like, we love people that love country music, that love live shows. You don't got to hang out with us there. We would love to get like a picture and stuff with you if you do win some of our tickets or anything like that. But we're not getting tickets given to us or anything. This is all us doing it on our own. So
Yeah, we pony up for this stuff out of our own pocket. We've made like $4.12 off of TikTok. That's the only thing that we've won, or not won, but made money off of with the podcast.
that covered a gallon of gas to get to the show.
Yeah, no, it's still sitting there. We're going to let it ride until we can buy a couple of concert tickets with it. So probably another year and a half of TikTok, So we don't make money doing this podcast. We do this because we love it. We do it because we love music, and we love meeting new people. And so when we do it, we're springing for these tickets ourselves. Not saying that we wouldn't take free tickets from a venue if they wanted to. We would certainly gladly give them away and give recognition to any venue that wanted to do that. We'd be happy to. It would save us a few bucks.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, we gave them away to Gary Allen. We gave them away to Faster Horses. We gave them away to Neon Union. We gave them away to Sam Grow.
Jake
what else
Slay,
did we
I
do?
think we gave some away to.
Yep. something else I'm drawing a blank on. No. Any rate, we're going to continue doing it. Go back and watch the old ones. You can see where we gave them away.
But yeah, make sure you're telling your friends about it too. Have them go on, like, follow, subscribe. Eventually, someday, it would be great to get to a point to where, like Matt says, if we can make enough money on this podcast by having so many followers and subscribers to just basically get concert tickets, so then we can go to concerts and maybe interview an artist or get some cool merch or get to where we can take other people with us to these concerts. I mean, that's kind of the end all goal. We would love to do that.
Maybe we'll get to a level where Luke Bryan doesn't flee the country when he hears you're coming.
I mean, that would be great. That would be great. Maybe we get to a point to where he invites us down there.
Right.
We go to that country. So yeah, that would be great. So, but yeah, jump on, like, subscribe, invite your friends to the page.
3 dots, click it.
3 dots, upper right hand corner says invite friends, and then invite all your friends. And comment and engage. We've talked about this many times in the past over season 1 of the podcast. If there's anybody that you guys have on your radar, we do a lot of these new artist spotlights. Or if you hear of a concert that's coming to Michigan somewhere close to you, let us know about it. Or if you find somebody, Michigan artist or somebody else, comment, send us a message. Let us know who you guys are into right now and who you think is going to be an up and comer and be playing the big time someday. So we'd love to engage with our fans. We love talking to people. Obviously, you can see that neither of us likes to shut up. So we like to talk, especially country music and live shows and stuff like that. So,
especially Jesse, I just sit here and be quiet.
Yeah. I already got the insight from the last podcast guest on here of how he couldn't get a word in edgewise. I said, I feel the same way. I said, sometimes I just got to be mean and butt in, but it doesn't work.
Yeah. I let you talk. Dan just doesn't have anything to say.
Sometimes I make a coherent thought, unlike some people.
Yeah. Dan's just like staring at the screen. Is that me?
Huh? Are we live? Is this thing on?
I gotta go to the bathroom. What am I supposed to do?
All
right.
Times.
Well, you guys, thanks for tuning in for another episode. Make sure you guys are following Bryan Martin on all of his socials. He's on TikTok. He's on Instagram. He's on Facebook. He's on YouTube. Check out his website, BryanMartinOfficial.com. Go get some merch there. Get some merch from the Average Joe Superstore. Make sure if you guys are in Michigan that you guys are following the Venue Event Center. Comment on there. Tell them that we sent you, whether it's on Bryan Martin stuff or the venue stuff. If you're in Michigan and you can make it out to the Tyler Farr show, we will see you there. I would get those tickets soon because I have a feeling that's going to sell out as well. Yeah.
But the venue as well, though. I mean, for, if there's people on here that, maybe they're not a big Tyler Farr fan or anything of that nature. They do a lot of country, but they do a lot of rock and roll. They do a lot of tribute bands and stuff like that. I think Carl just went to the Slipknot tribute band last week. I know they're doing like an Ozzy Osbourne, a Taylor Swift tributes, and like these people like are spot on like the people that they're trying to portray. So I know they have a few other, Blackstone Cherry they got coming. Anybody that likes some Memphis rap, we got Little White coming in May. Anybody back in the day that remembers a little bit of the green jelly? Not by the hair on my chinny chin chin. I know. Jesus and Fergie voice, I know. But, they got all kinds of, I think, Mushroom Heads coming there.
Jesus, Fergie, shut up.
But yeah, go on to it's the venuecadillac.com or go on to the Venue Event Center on Facebook. Sean is always on there doing lives to either talk about the upcoming shows. They do have a whole handful of shows that they're getting ready to announce and they're excited to announce. So Sean,
Yeah.
it's usually about once a week he gets on there and does a live of announcing
Sometimes 2 and 3 times a week.
Right. So make sure you're on there checking Sean out. He's a great dude. And it's just a great venue. One of the best that we've ever been to, and we will continue to frequent that place as much as we possibly can. Not just for the shows, not just for the food, but for the whole staff that Sean has over there, and the Jeremy, the owner. They're not gonna
keep them
they're
in
not
paychecks, keep them growing that venue.
Yep.
They're already talking about maybe they might need to expand again.
And
so
they bought property out back. They're going to expand again. Like they want to keep doing this, and they love what they're doing. So the more people we can get there and keep going to these shows, they're just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. So make sure you guys are checking them out.
Doing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And just like the artists, tell them we sent you.
Yep. There'll probably be a time that if you guys frequent that place enough, you'll probably be thinking that we work there, from time to time, because we're going to be eating there and we're going to be going to shows there and talking to people. So definitely make sure you're checking them out. And, you guys comment, make sure you're letting us know, do I have a legit challenge coin throwdown, or are you going to listen to this guy over here? But yeah, make sure you guys are going on and you get a chance to win that poster. Remember, FAFO, fuck around, find out.
On YouTube, in the comment section.
In the comment section.
Everything else in regards to Jesse's comment.
And you've seen it here. Y'all Need Music Podcast. Out.
Hop into the comments on that one and just say, Hardy. That's all you got to say. That's middle fingers to the sky for Jesse. If you think he's wrong.
I mean, there's 3 concerts in my entire life that I can tell you were the best concerts I've ever been to, and we just named 3 of them.
All right. Well, I'm standing firm that Jamie Johnson is still number 1. Bryan Martin is absolutely incredible. Give him that. We're going to see him again for sure multiple times, but Jesse's wrong. Ask Tasha. We'll catch you guys. We'll catch you guys next time on
Y'all Need Music Podcast.
Later.